Welcome back to the channel. You guys ready to work on this thing? I know I am. That's out. This is coming in. Let's do this. You guys know the rules for this year's Matt's Off-Road Games. There's going to be a jalopy competition, and then there's going to be a wrecker competition as well. The jalopy competition has to be a vehicle that's coiled at all four corners, no shocks, 33-inch tire max. That's why we chose this rig. I also chose this rig because I figured most people are probably going to do like a Grand Cherokee or Cherokee just because they're a little easier to come by. This is a 1996 Land Rover Discovery. Now, I have owned a Discovery before. I was not very impressed. I thought they looked amazing, but I was not impressed with the drivetrain. Let's see what we got here. Now, here's something that you might not know unless you're British or Australian or run these kind of vehicles, is most of these body panels are actually aluminum. So here's my magnet. Nothing. 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 Okay, that's metal. The roof's metal. B-pillar's metal, aluminum, aluminum, aluminum. Even the hatch is aluminum with a little bit of metal in it or something. Huh, weird. Maybe a metal plate for the door hinge. Because I don't know a whole lot about these things, I made a few phone calls to people that do own these and found out that yes, these axles are pencil sticks. Things break. They don't like 33-inch tall tires. So the first thing we're going to do is gut this thing and try to get it as light as possible. Now that door feels heavy. Hopefully taking this thing off will lighten this thing up. And there's a lot of little goodies in here. Like here's the arrow I found when we tested this thing out in the Glade. And then here's an arrow that was just in the back seat here. So doubled down. Oh, what kind of goodies do I got in here? We got antifreeze. Antifreeze, that's not good signs. Gloves, a bag, a light, newspaper, this switch panel, more plastic, an Easter egg, gloves, yeah, nothing special there. Now this ain't a bad deal. It actually came with all the oil and stuff in it. Like I literally didn't have to buy this stuff. This was in here. O'Reilly's and Napa. Somebody was an artist. What's this? Well, we got a Bear tire cover. Do we keep the Land Rover tire cover or do we do the Kodiak? I don't know, maybe I'll just sell that. What else we got in here? The original Land Rover book. Oh yeah, look at that. Any hardcore Land Rover fans out there need an original book? Oh, I hope I don't need this. Electrical troubleshooting manual. That is thick. Is this what you guys, Land Rover guys, like to do, is work on electrics? I don't like working on electrics. If you guys remember when we took this out, these brakes are horrible. Now it looks like the calipers are new. Maybe it didn't get bled, but there's brand new rotors there. I'm obviously going to put those on and try to get this thing to stop. All right. That's fantastic. I think we're going to paint an American flag on here though, because Tea Party. All right, we got most of the stuff pulled out of here. Now it's time to actually start gutting this rig. It's kind of cool that like the structure of the chassis is steel and then all the panels are aluminum, but I am kind of shocked that this thing is steel. That's a lot of weight. So we might have to do something about that too. Oh, more oil. Now you guys have seen the inside of this before because I did the thermostat before we took it out. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this battery though, because last thing I want is to have a dead battery when we start this thing. So take the battery off so we can start pulling doors off, which looks like it's not even tight anyway. Coolio. And I think my nasty power steering leak is on top of this box, so I might try to just tighten these bolts down and see if that keeps this box from leaking. I don't know. It's either there or it's this hose. which is possible. Ew, might be the hose. I'm gonna start with the rear door. What's funny is this thing's got a junk load of wires here. Like, I don't get it. You got a speaker, a wiper, and a heater and a door lock. Like, why is there so many? I don't know why you would need so many of these plugs, like so many wires for all this. Like, this seems like an exuberant amount of wires for a door lock, a wiper, a speaker. I don't know. Seems like a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. The reason I don't want to just cut the wires, which would be quicker, is because I do not want any shorts. These things are already known for kind of having electrical issues. They're like the Mopars of Britain. Like, they keep running like a Jeep or a Dodge. You know, the interior's not the nicest, the wiring's not the nicest, but they keep on running, they keep on going. I think that's my opinion of the Land Rover. So the last thing I want to do is give it an excuse to have wiring problems when it probably already has wiring problems. So I'm going to unplug each one. That way at least wires aren't going to be touching each other and trying to short circuit things. Come loose, sucker. There we go. Almost guarantee that speaker wire. Well, here I am saying I'm not going to cut any wires. I'm going to cut some wires because these are 100% speaker wire. And I don't want to take everything apart just to unplug the speakers, since they ran custom wires out for their speakers. Zinga. Dunskies. All right. Check that out. Got a Radical cover. Maybe we'll reuse that. Is that just for the cover? Oh, it is. Yeah. Look at that. It's a good thing I didn't need this tire. It's flat. Well, we got most of the weight off. Let's see if I can pull this hatch off now. Oh man, that is heavy. That is really heavy. If you ever pulled an old Cherokee tailgate off, it's fiberglass and they're like super heavy. I think that thing's heavier than that, which is crazy because it's like aluminum. Either way, there's 150 pounds down. Let's work on the doors. Wow, is that really all that holds these seats in? Is these two tiny little, like, no, those are bolts, but they're almost like the size of a screw. They're smaller than my fingernail, maybe a 10mm head. That's crazy. I wouldn't think the crash test on bolts that size would be good. Well, either way, let's pull it out. Yeah. Anybody need some Discovery seats? Nice and leather. All right, so I was saving you guys the agonizing process of pulling all the wires out here. Like I said, I'm pulling them out so I don't have another short. But look, I found a mouse nest in here. Yay. Hey, check these out. Look at them rad things. I had somebody comment in one of my videos, you need to get rid of the Gen Z glasses. Obviously, you didn't grow up in the 80s and 90s, where I know for a fact I had some really fancy bright glasses, hot pink parachute pants, and some other stuff because I was too legit to quit. Doors are ready to come off. Now I'm ready to unbolt them. The problem is the way these bolts are designed, you cannot get to it. So I can get to these front two, no problem. I can't get to this one. I have no way of getting in there and pulling that out. Now, if you open the door, I have the same problem. I don't have enough room to unbolt it from the hinge on the door side. And it's not just Land Rovers. I can't knock Land Rover for this because I find this on a lot of vehicles. They seem to make it to where you have to pull fenders off, or you have to do some sort of, you have to make your own fancy little tool. And I think we're just gonna cut them off because, yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that. But engineers out there, car designing engineers out there, make it accessible to get these bolts so we can pull doors off and change them out, because they do get old, they do need to get modified. Sometimes the hinges tweak and you have to straighten a door out. It would make it a lot nicer if you could get to all the bolts. Thanks. Oh. Got it. Oh, wow. That's heavy too. Whew. Now just 3 more. We'll get it. Look at that balance. Oh yeah. Right off the old leg. Ugh, that's heavy too. You know what's surprising is with all this stuff being aluminum, it is extremely heavy. I know it has an electric motor and the glass and all that stuff, but these are actually really heavy doors. Like, I've pulled off a lot of doors. These aren't any lighter than the metal. I think that they are probably the same weight. They just don't rust. This part rusts though, the metal. I was also just informed that this color on this thing is Rutledge Red, and it's actually kind of rare. Oops. America. Let me apologize with a written letter in 1776 right here. Ha! These doors are getting heavy by myself, so I got Shanna helping me now.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Well, the plan was to get it lighter. I guarantee there's at least 750 to 1,000 pounds worth of junk over there already. Next thing is going to be is getting the front end parts off, because this just gets in the way. It catches everything. Probably move the bumper, remove the rear bumper, and we need to gut the interior because I need as much weight off the roof as possible. This thing is going to be a big old slinky, and so we need to get all of this stuff out of here, which I honestly have no idea how to do that because I've never done it. So never on one of these anyway. And we need to get this glass out. So I think what I'll do is I'll have Shanna working on this stuff, pulling these little brackets and everything off of here, all the little screws and stuff, see if we can get the top end out, and I'll work on trying to get this glass out. I think until we get this part off, I can't get the glass out. My wife likes to use hand tools instead of just using the impact.
Oh, I forget about the impact. I grew up on hand tools. I'm sorry. Oh, that's way easier.
Taillight access. Oh look, another mouse nest.
Ew.
Neat. Now this, on the other hand, is not very heavy, but it still weighs a few pounds, and every pound is gonna matter for these little axles, I think. Yummy. Do you like your tea with a side of hantavirus? That's probably important to somebody. Probably don't need that. Before you take that off, Shanna.
Yeah.
Hey, found a dime. This unthreads. This is for the deal, but it unthreads just like an old school door latch. I thought that was kind of cool. And they actually made access to pull the seatbelt out. So whoever designed that part, you're smart. All right, now seatbelts, I think it's like pretty unanimous. Most seatbelt bolts take a Torx T50, and I stepped up to impact ones because I got tired of breaking the normal ones. So these I've had pretty good luck with so far. I've had some really tough ones. We'll see how they hold up on this. Easy enough. Now that's a lot of work to get to it, but I really like that a lot of foreign vehicles have an access here to get to your fuel pump. If you guys remember when I built the S10, I literally cut a hole in the bed and put an access panel that I got off of eBay on it. You know, I know my old Toyota 4Runners had these. Obviously, a Rover has one too. So I don't know if this is much easier. This looks like a lot of work to pull all this out to get to that. It might be easier to drop the tank. I don't know. But at least you could access it from the top without having to drop the tank if you had like just filled up and your fuel pump goes out, because that's usually the way it works. I'm a little bit nervous with all this wiring. That is a lot up here. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull this glass out. Now it should, in theory, I should be able to pull this rubber down and push it out and get it going, but That's theory. See if I can do it without breaking stuff, like glass. We did it. My wife likes to wave a lot.
Yeah.
She's like Forrest Gump. She's always just like.
That was mean. Tell him he was mean.
Whatever. She likes boxes of chocolate. Let's see if I can get lucky again. That might have been like the first or second window ever in my life that I got out without shattering. I am not a body guy. Ask Robbie Layton. Today must be my lucky day. 2 for 2. I better go buy a lotto ticket. All right, now this top glass on the corner here is actually a lot like an old square body Chevy windshield. It has this seal that runs in here and holds it in. So if you can just pry into there, pop this seal up, which I did, right like that. Then you can just pull the seal, which actually is in really good shape, surprisingly. Then this rubber should be able to fold in, and we should be able to just push it out. Theoretically. I'm worried they might have glued this into this seal so it didn't leak. Man, owie. Now this is where if I had piano wire, I could run it through there and I could get around that. I'm just afraid if I push on this too hard, it's gonna break. There we go. Oh yeah. Dude, I'm sure that piece of glass is cheap.
I knew he could do it.
You know what this is? This is actually a roof drain tube for the sunroof. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen that before, so good on you, Rover. I bet this rig's been to Zion. Stick to the trail, Zion National Park. It's funny, because it's gonna be going right back there once we're done with it. And I have a feeling this one didn't work. Just a hunch, I don't know. Actually, I tried both of them and neither one of them worked, but that one might have leaked or something. Or worked once and then they forced it back. Lots of stuff. We're gonna get this thing to weigh half of what it did when we started. Even this stuff, it's in really good shape. What's that? Hey, found arrows, found a arrowhead target tip. The gas door on these is a locking one, so I went ahead and took that off too, in case for some weird reason we smash into here. I want to be able to get to this gas cap if I need to or whatever. I might go ahead and trim that piece off and see if I can get that out. And then at least now we have access to the gas cap.
I'll see how strong I am.
Was it that loose?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Are you sure there's not a nut on the backside?
Maybe there is. Maybe I'm just not strong. Oh, there's totally a nut.
It's got a sleeve in there so that it can move around. I got that part out. I think we got to pull these off here. That's probably a good chunk of what's keeping this thing up. There we go. Warning. Oh man, it's pulling that warning label off is that like when you do it with a bed and then you burned? Don't report me. Oh man, all kinds of goodies under here. Look at all these plugs. Now, one of the things I will say I kind of like is most of these plugs have been really easy to come out. Like look at that, like bam, it just came right out. That's something that the United States market needs to work on because all the plastic clips that I've ever taken off a vehicle that's literally from the 90s usually don't come off. They usually break or brittle and broken. For some reason, these are still in good shape, so I don't know how that works. Maybe I'm just lucky with this one, but I'd be kind of shocked. Oh man, this thing's in good shape. Anybody need one of these?
So far, our treasures that we have found are 3 feathers, Panda Express telling us that your difficult path will be rewarding, and 75 cents. Yeah.
$1.
$1?
Another quarter.
I got $1. I got $1. I got $1. Hey, 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 hey.
One of the things that I'm finding real quick is this thing's got a wiring harness for its wiring harness just in the roof with all the sunroofs and lights and whatever else they did. They just ran everything up and through here, and it is just piles and piles of wires that I've been pulling out. So we'll just keep pulling these wires out, and then we got to get these sunroofs out, which looks like it's an Allen head bolt holding these in, and I think it's like a 3mm or something that I'm gonna have to figure out the socket for that because I don't even know if I have one. Let's see. Is it Torx? Oh, maybe it's Torx bolt. That's what I get for working in the dark. Getting blind, I guess. There we go. There's my little retractor. You might need one of these. All right. This thing looks like it should just go straight up. Yeah. When in doubt, size 14 it out. You want to grab that from up there?
Got it.
Hey.
Hey.
My foot's bigger than your body.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
One down, one to go. Well, I think that's why this one didn't work. Well, cables are broken, but it's out. You know, this glass really wasn't that heavy, but those sunroofs are actually pretty heavy with all the components and brackets and everything, so probably knocked off another 100 pounds between the two of them. We have now gutted pretty much everything up here. All the heavy stuff. Man, we've knocked a lot of weight off this thing. I want you to see this. Just listen to this. Front end's in due for a little work. Now it is a jalopy, so we don't need to like get crazy with it, but I do need it to hold up. I want to be able to put a show on for you guys. I want you guys to enjoy the off-road games. This thing's gonna be cool. Man, look at all this stuff. Just stuff. Flat tire. Stuff. This thing's only been in here half a day, and look. It's already leaving its mark. Hey, another ATF. Had a heck of a time reading through all this to find where the fuses actually are so I could know what fuses I need to pull. Number one, I need to pull the airbag fuse. I need to pull the airbag fuse, and we need to pull the interior light fuse so that we don't get lights on or all these. Otherwise, I gotta take each one of these apart and tie them together to kill that switch. That one's out. All right, just pulled a pile of fuses. I'm gonna hook the battery back up real quick just to see if this thing even starts before we go any farther and start chopping wires. Anti-theft fuse says no. Well, that's good to know. Now I'll have to put those fuses back in and see if we can figure it out. All right, had to put the anti-theft fuses back in, and then it fired off, so that's kind of a bummer. I was hoping to not have those so that it couldn't accidentally mess me up. Next thing we gotta do is start removing all these other wires out of the way, figure out what I need and what I don't need, and remove these. Because we don't actually want the airbags to even go off. So I know I have the fuses pulled, but I've heard like hard hits and things like that have still caused them to go off. Behind the steering wheel here is some T30 Torx bolts. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out, and hopefully that will get this airbag out, and then I can just unplug it. But we'll find out once I do it. I definitely don't want these in here after pre-running the trail and running that obstacle that Matt has named Big Dipper. You know, I've ran that trail a bunch, but I've never tried a line like that on that trail. And that's gonna be really, really tough on a rig on 33s with no shocks. So I think that we got a lot that could go squirrely right there for sure. Yay! Didn't blow up on me. How about that? Boom skis. Now we'll get the passenger side. I don't know how much these things cost, but if somebody needs one, I have it with all of this stuff. Lots and lots and lots to tear apart here. How about that? I like that better. Don't know how the horn works. I guess just like that. Mink, 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 mink. So I'll still have a horn. Time to move to that one. I also don't like having airbags on something if I'm getting ready to weld to it or do anything basically. Be nice to have those out because we're gonna have to do a little bit of welding. This thing's gonna have to be able to handle a rollover, and I don't think right now it would do that. That is not super stout. The passenger side airbag is ironically inverted Torx, so I gotta figure out which one it goes to. Hey, first time guess. And I hardly ever use these things. Should already have that unplugged. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. What's that one worth? Who knows? That's a huge plus. I did have to pull the glove box out to get to it, and it's got this weird spring tension on it. But now that we have that out of there, I have room for, I can put cup holders here. Or maybe I might put a grab handle there, because if somebody's riding with me on this trip, they're gonna want something to hold on to. All right, so I got a couple ideas of how I would like to do the cage in this thing. Originally, I was thinking about just chopping everything off at this level and putting a cage on it. Now, I'm kind of thinking, I wonder if I can cut it off at the rain gutter here and save these aluminum back panels, just because you can kind of tell it's still a Rover. Don't know. So the next thing I need to do is figure out how I want to do this cage, and the way I want to do this is make it structurally strong, but I want to kind of keep this look. You know, you see how that kind of has that wave, and I want to kind of keep that. So the only way I can do that first is getting rid of all this, all the body off of here. Now, before you cut the roof off of anything, you got to remember that this pinch weld, this pinch seam here, is actually what structurally holds your entire vehicle together. If you cut all this off, your body's going to start peeling apart each way, and I don't really want that to happen. What I do want to do is go ahead and just weld a couple bars going from here to there, and that keeps this thing from folding apart. We might even do one on the back as well. I go here, that's 59 inches. I go here, 51 1/4. Okay. Before I cut those two pieces, I'm gonna take a little snack break, and then we'll get those two pieces cut. And then we gotta run into town, actually. Dang, 59 on the money. You saw how sloppy I measured that. So before I cut this roof off, I need to get this glass out of here. Now, I've never, ever had good luck pulling windshield glass out, but I'm gonna try anyway, and the only way I've ever done it is with piano wire. Now, I couldn't find any piano wire. They claim at Home Depot that this is piano wire, so I'm gonna try it. We'll see how it works. All right, now this thing has got a rubber seal, and then it's glued in as well, and you can see kind of right there where it goes in, and then right here is where it's actually glued up. So all in this seam, you can see this glue strip. I'm gonna try, very much keyword try, to poke a hole through that rubber gasket, that rubber seal, and then see if I can get this piano wire in, if I can get the hole poked through. If not, I'm gonna have to get a drill and try to drill a really small hole. But my goal is to get inside here without creating too much damage. You know, I used to have one of these tools. I need to go see if I got it. I'll be right back. All right, I had to do a little searching around, but I did find my Harbor Freight windshield removal stuff. So this is one way you can get in here. Now, the problem is I have these rubber seals here that are actually glued in now, so I can't just pull this out. So the only way I can use this is to cut it from the inside, which is fine, it'll definitely help a little bit. But realistically, what I want to do is use this. The way this works is I just need to fold it over this and then push it through the rubber, and hopefully it'll get through there. Come on. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere, maybe. There we go. So you can see here I got it pushed through. Now we have our cord. So Shanna's gonna help me once she's done drinking her greens. All right, the trick with this is you slide these through the hole and then up, out like that. In fact, if you want, you can even come in through here like that, and then you pull against it, and that holds it like that. All right, now we have rope that can come through here, and we can just cut. You just pull back and forth. And that's how we cut the windshield out.
Aw, you're too strong.
All right, we're gonna try to push this out. We cut it all the way down to here. They should not have glued the base in, but if they did, they did. We'll see what happens. Man, they 100% did, you can tell. Well, see if I can get into here, I guess. I can never do this without making a mess. I'm trying to not make a mess. These things are brutal. All right, I think patience is done. You want to get out of there. I'm over it. There we go. All right. I didn't thought it was gonna break. It didn't.
That's scary.
It's out. Can never win.
If you haven't seen Colt in person, you know that was a very stubborn windshield. That guy's strong.
Only get a little bit of glass in the eye.
Oh my goodness.
That's like 5 pounds of glue they used on this thing. That's a lot. Wow. They did not want that windshield to come out. Every windshield guy is thanking me for taking this thing out and not wanting a new windshield put in. Because they'd have spent the next 3 hours cleaning all this junk off. So all that's gonna do is just keep that body from splitting apart once I cut that top off. So when I start cutting things off, that's gonna keep them at least together. If they're gonna shift, they're gonna shift together. That ain't going nowhere. Alrighty, well, now it's the moment of truth. We need to chop off the root. So a couple of things that I got here is some ground studs. So I'll have to drill in some new ones down here somewhere for the rear wiring harness. There's one on both sides when we cut this off. I need to make a height design of where I want to cut it. I think here, just because it's going to be a huge pain to get any lower, I'll probably just chop this off at this spot. And then I'm not sure if we're going to leave that at all. And then here we might just run it right in line with this window line. That'll give us a pretty good mark. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think we just do it and see what we get. I really don't have any other choice, especially because I can't do anything here. My only other option, because these are aluminum, is to cut up here, but the downside to that is then like all of this, I got to figure something out for this, which I'm not sure how I would do that. So maybe I'll cut this first right here at this seam, right underneath this pinch seam, and then we'll cut the fronts off where I want to cut it, and then we'll see what we get. All right, I ran into a little bit of a snag here. I wanted to cut this and be able to take this off. I should have went above the rain gutter here, because what happened is I cut here, but now I got to get up into this part, into this panel, and get through these. So I'll have to do this all again, but maybe I can hold a blade at this angle and get up in here and just chop this thing out. Only one way to find out. But we're getting there. Got that part off. Looks like a totally different rig now. I want it to still look like a Rover, so I might have to make the cage look like a Rover. All right, well, I'll try to cut up at an angle and get that plate out, because that's the only thing I can do at this point. All right, that was the trick. Sawzall was cooking my hand just holding it. Got hot. Well, I'd say that's a good bit of work. Unfortunately, while I was going around too earlier, I knocked this off the side of the bumper, so I guess now I'm forced to figure out something with the bumpers. So I'd say we have a pretty decent start with where we want to go with this thing. Lots to do still, but it's going to be a pretty rad rig. I think that the old Tea Party is going to be bringing the Eagles for sure. Next time you see this thing, I'm going to be putting rock sliders and a cage on it. So hope to see you guys next time. Hope you like this video. Please make sure you like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.